What is going on, college sports fans? Today we got some breaking news because Hall of Fame head basketball coach and current basketball coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers is under a lot of controversy because he was on a Cincinnati hosted radio show yesterday and he did use a homophobic slur. So a lot of people are split on whether he should be fired or not. I'm going to share with you guys the clip of what he said, share with you guys the apology that he came out with a few hours later, and give you guys my overall thoughts and opinions about this whole situation as a West Virginia fan and just as a college basketball fan in general. So I'm ready to get started. Let's go. So this is what he said on the radio show. I'll share with you guys the clip. I will have to bleep out the slur that he used, but I'm sure you guys can put the pieces together.
Hello, Coach Bob Huggins. You're on the air. I'm sitting here with Steve Muller in the segment.
What would make you think I wanted to talk to you?
Hey, Coach. Now, we're telling Huggins stories, but we had a cut at which you she took a little shot at me as not being a trustworthy person. Would you want to revise and extend those remarks?
Absolutely not.
Hey, Hugs, I told him I thought it was misunderstood, taken out of context.
It was out of context.
I don't know. It must have been my thoughts at the time.
Now, Steve also tells me that you have the best portal transfers. Have you poached any Xavier guys to come to play for West Virginia?
Catholics don't do that.
No, we're above the fracas, aren't we? No problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tell you what, any school that can throw rubber penises on the floor and then say they didn't do it, by God, they can get away with anything.
Rubber penis. Was this
I think that was at the Crosstown Shootout,
I
wasn't
think
it?
it was transgender night, wasn't it?
What?
Was that it?
It was a crosstown shootout. Yeah, no, what it was all those Catholic.
All right.
They were envious they didn't have one.
Well, Steve, your comments about Bob Huggins. Is he the best?
He's the best.
The best ever. Is he the best assistant coach you ever had?
Who?
Steve Muller.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, anybody who can rent 2 rooms, get a chair, put a pizza in between the 2 rooms so that he can talk to Herb Jones for 2 days, he's the best.
That is what Bob Huggins said on the radio show, and I have to say, as a West Virginia fan, this is really bad. Like, this is a horrible look for the university, for WVU, for the state of West Virginia. It's just a really bad look because Bob Huggins is a legend here. You know, he's a Hall of Fame head basketball coach. He's taken West Virginia to the Final Four, many Sweet 16 appearances. He's a leader, a role model for the state, and for him to go out there and do something like, it's so stupid for him to do this. Like, I just don't know, like, whether he thought the radio show wasn't live or what's going on. And I have to say that the 2 guys that were hosting the radio show in Cincinnati, they're at fault for this too, because it sounds like, yeah, they are just kind of like joking around, but you can't just joke around. Like, you're just not a normal guy going to the bar, talking to your buddies, talking smack about Xavier. Like, you are a leader, a role model for not only the team, for not only the basketball team, but for the state as a whole. Like I said, you are a role model. You cannot do this. You represent an entire state. And you just can't go out there and say something like this on a live radio show or really ever. I mean, this is just a huge mistake by Bob Huggins. This is what Bob Huggins said during his apology a few hours later after all of this went public. So he came out and said, and I quote, "Earlier today on a Cincinnati radio program, I was asked about the rivalry between my former employer, the University of Cincinnati, and its crosstown rival, Xavier University. During the conversation, I used a completely insensitive and abhorrent abhorrent phrase that there is simply no excuse for, and I won't try to make one here. I deeply apologize to the individuals I have offended, as well as the Xavier University community, the University of Cincinnati, and West Virginia University. As I have shared with my players over my 40 years of coaching, there are consequences for our words and actions, and I will fully accept any coming my way. I am ashamed and embarrassed and heartbroken for those I have hurt. I must do better, and I will. So, yes, this apology did come out, and like he said, he is going to accept any consequences coming his way, whether that is a firing, whether that is a suspension, whatever that may be. We'll find out real soon, but this is by far the biggest decision for new athletic director Wren Baker. I mean, this is his biggest decision he has had to make so far as the athletic director of West Virginia University. So, do you guys think that Bob Huggins should be fired or not? I would say that he's probably not going to get fired, just because so much respect and has done well for the sport of basketball for so many years. I just think like this mistake, it is a bad mistake. Like I said, it's not a good look at all, but I don't think he will be fired. Does he deserve to be fired? That is another question. And honestly, either way, I'm going to say I support Wren Baker's decision either way. I am not going to blame Wren Baker if he does decide to fire Bob Huggins this season, and I understand that a lot of West Virginia fans will be upset at him if he does decide to fire him, because this is the best roster that West Virginia basketball has had probably since 2021, whenever we had Deuce McBride, and this roster is turning out to be better. Like, it's looking like we have potential to be one of the best teams in the country coming up this year, because he brought in one of probably the best transfer class this offseason. I mean, it's definitely up there in the top 3 in all of college basketball. He has brought in a lot of really good players. So West Virginia basketball, we were really hyped. I was really excited for this season, so it would suck to see Bob Huggins get fired. But the thing about it is, I would not blame Wren Baker one bit if Bob Huggins gets fired, because it is not on Wren if Bob gets fired. It is on Bob Huggins. That is his mistake. I would not blame Wren. I would be very mad at Bob Huggins if he gets fired, because I just don't understand how you can be that stupid. I mean, I'm just going to go out there and say it. I don't know how you can be that stupid to say something like that. But that's my opinions on it, whether he gets fired, whether he doesn't. I completely support Wren Baker, and I will always support the West Virginia Mountaineers, whether we have Bob Huggins, whether we don't. So I'm a fan of this team, and I'm a little bit less of a fan of Bob Huggins today. So those are my opinions on it. But another thing we have to look at is, with this coming out, even if Bob Huggins does not get fired, do we think that some of the players, newly acquired players or players that have been there for years, do we think that West Virginia might lose some of the players to the transfer portal after this happens? We still have, quite a bit of time until the next college basketball season begins. They have time to enter the transfer portal, so we'll see. Hopefully, we don't lose any of the players because of what he said either. We were in such a good position as a basketball team. I just really hope that this doesn't hurt the team in any way. And you got to think, if Bob Huggins does get fired, we are probably going to lose quite a few bit of players to the transfer portal. But that is going to do it for this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about this whole situation with Bob Huggins. Do you guys think he should be fired? Do you guys think that he just gets a suspension and deserves, a second chance here? Like he said in his apology, he's been a coach for 40 years. He's going to accept the consequences to his actions. 40 years of coaching. This is a bad mistake, though. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. And yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching.